Stop using your age as an excuse for why you can't achieve your fitness goals. Sure, things can get more difficult as you get older, no doubt about it, but it's not necessarily because you've reached this magic number. I've been lifting weights heavy since I was in my 20s. I'm 46 now. Now, the good news is that I've been doing it for a long time, so once you're in motion, it's easier to stay in motion. The bad news can be that you've built up a lot of wear and tear over the course of decades of hard training. So now I have to be a lot more cognizant of recovery. I get a massage once a week. I make sure I sleep 8 hours every night. I eat a really healthy diet. And when I train, I don't go to failure often or ever. I don't take it to, I'm always reserved. I always leave a little bit of money in the bank. I'm not making a full withdrawal every time I train. When I was younger, sure, you could train harder and have better recovery, but because you weren't training smart, you weren't necessarily making as much progress. I can actually make more progress now than I did then because I understand hormone optimization, I understand optimal recovery, and I understand optimal program design. So you have to get smarter the longer you've been doing something. You can't expect to get the same results using the same strategies into perpetuity. You're gonna have to modify things. But it's a very self-destructive approach to blame your age for why you're not achieving something, because it takes the control out of your hands. Now you have an excuse. You're covered. I'm 40. That's why I can't get strong anymore. So I'm just going to use that as an excuse. That's why I can't get rid of excess body fat. It's because of my age. I'm just going to have to accept that. I'm going to talk about how difficult it is. So a bunch of people give me a pat on the back. I get a bunch of likes. Oh, I'm in the same boat. Thanks for sharing. You're so brave. You're not brave. You're a candy-ass twat. You're being a total douchebag. Take charge of your life. Focus on what you can control. What happens as you get older? Hormones start declining. So let's focus on hormone optimization. Chances are, if you can keep your testosterone levels at youthful ranges well into your 40s and 50s, that it's going to have a very positive impact on your well-being, your physique composition, your strength. Chances are, if your testosterone to estrogen ratio is good, your DHEA levels are optimal, so you have exceptional stress management abilities, your melatonin's good, so you're sleeping well every night, your growth hormone's great, so that you're getting good results in terms of physique composition and recovery. Hormone optimization is something that everyone can take advantage of. It doesn't have to be super expensive. You start with a really clean diet and you start with optimal sleep and healthy exercise. When it comes to training, you have to get a little bit smarter as you get older. When I was in my 20s, I could go all out every single session after a bender the night before in college, still have a good workout, still push it hard. Well, I'm in my 40s now, and it's not so much that it's because I'm in my 40s that I have to modify things. It's because I've been training for decades. So the mileage is pretty high. The wear and tear has built up. So now I have to be smarter about how I do things. I'm also stronger now than I was then. So I'm lifting much heavier weights, and obviously that's going to have more wear and tear. So you have to be very cognizant of recovery. I make sure to get a massage once a week. I make sure my sleep is optimal. I make sure my diet's on point. I make sure my mental health is good. I make sure I enjoy what I do for a living, so stress is low. Focus on what you can control instead of complaining about things that don't have as much of an impact as you may believe they do. I mean, I talked to a guy at the car wash last week, and I asked him how he's doing. And he said, well, I'm 30 now, so I'm tired all the time. I said, you're tired all the time because you're 30? That's what you think the reason is? You don't think it's because you go to In-N-Out Burger next door every day? You're drinking Coca-Cola all day long? You're drinking every Friday night? You think it's because you're 30? Couldn't possibly be any of those other factors. Couldn't be the fact that you don't sleep well at night, you're overly caffeinated during the day, and then you're drinking excessive alcohol at night, and you're eating food that has no nutritional value whatsoever. It's not because you're 30 that you're unhealthy. It's because of the choices that you've made. Now, chances are when you get to 40, it's an accumulation of the poor choices that you've made that you're now that have now manifested, and now you have to deal with that. You can turn things around, but let's accept some realities here. It's not because you're 40 that you're having a difficult time being strong and fit. It's because you've led an unhealthy lifestyle for a long period of time. And now you're realizing the negative consequences, and it's going to take a while to turn that ship around, but it can be turned around. Maybe it's going to take a little extra effort. Maybe you have to learn some new things. You go to a doctor and learn how to optimize hormones. You learn how to improve your gut health. You learn how to mitigate excess inflammation so you have better recovery and less wear and tear. But Clarence Bass made a really good point too when he was on the Live Life Aggressively show, a podcast I do with my friend Sincere Hogan. And Clarence Bass I think he might be 80 now. He's definitely into his 70s. And this guy is shredded. He is shredded. Now, he looks like one of those aliens with the big head in the old Star Trek series, but that's a separate point. I don't want to digress into that. Back to Clarence. This guy's ripped, 8-pack, 12-pack, and he's looked that way forever. And he's maintained it well into being a senior. So all you people out there that are in your 50s and 60s, you don't have excuses either. There's too many examples of people. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is that he's always been in shape. He never let himself go. He wasn't an unhealthy kid, and then he learned how to be healthy in his 30s and 40s, and now he's maintaining that. He's been healthy for probably his entire life. So it's easier to maintain health than it is to build it for the first time at middle age or beyond. But it doesn't mean that it can't be done. But the reason I bring up Clarence Bass is he made a really good point about metabolism. Often people say, as I get older, my metabolism slows down. We hear that all the time, right? People believe this as a fact, as if it's a scientific fact that as you get older, your metabolism slows down. Now, what they fail to convey is that more likely it's your activity level that has slowed down as you get older. You're watching a lot more TV, you're watching the news, you're sedentary. You used to walk a couple miles a day, now you don't do that anymore. You don't go to the gym, you don't lift weights. Your activity level is really low. So what do you expect to happen? You should make your activity level as high as you can. First thing you do when you wake up in the morning, after you take a shower, brush your teeth, go walk around the block. Maybe it's only half a mile or a mile, but just get your body moving. I have dogs, so I'm constantly watching these guys. And speaking of excuses, look at my friend Grover. Grover, you want to say hi? Grover is 15. Most dogs don't even make it to 15. And not only is Grover 15, but he still goes for long walks every day. He's still healthy. He can still jump up on the couch here. He's had some wear and tear as he's getting older. He's got some heart issues. That's just natural. There's things you can't avoid. But because I've had him since he was 2, he's been on a really healthy diet. He's had a lot of exercise, and he knows that someone cares about him. He knows that I care about him. He knows that our other dog, Raina, cares about him. And that adds a lot. That helps with your mental health, and you're going to be better at everything you do. So anyway, stop using age as an excuse for why you can't achieve your fitness goals or really any other goal. Now, some may say, well, I'm 75, and you're trying to say that I could work up to a 600-pound deadlift? Do you even want to do that? Or are you just throwing that out there? I don't know whether you can or can't. That's for you to figure out. That's for you to find out. But if it's a goal that's really important to you, you're going to find a way to figure out how to get it done.